John, I'll make copies of the tapes, and everyone will have a copy if they want of whatever parts. We'll try and get as much as possible. All right, so greetings, my fellow Earthlings. My name is, my real name is Jonathan, I guess, but the name I like to go by during spiritual events is Always. And I haven't always been Always, and I think I'll give you a little bit of a history as far as how I came about getting this name. And someone had mentioned earlier, though, that they think I use a lot of semantics during my dissertations or my sharing of information. But just remember, folks, if it wasn't for semantics, we wouldn't be here. Oh. So the point I'd like to share with everybody is that we're all one body. We're all one soul. I think all of us, that's the message that we've all been gathering here and sharing here. I'm going to come over here because I don't think there's anybody behind me. But we're basically all part of one universal soul. And we all came from one infinite totality, one infinite source. And I think what the we solution is that we're trying to come up with, and I'm going to ask for group participation later on during this this informational sharing. We need to come up with some we solutions that we can provide, some working models that we can implement on a day-to-day basis. Because a lot of this has been a lot of esoteric information and different things, but why not some practical applications? But getting back to a little bit about myself, I think it's important for you to get some background information. I came to this valley, actually the Sunshine Valley, in 1970, and I had a revelation here. I decided that I wanted to figure out who I am, who am I, what am I doing here. I've been going through a lot of changes, and I came to the realization that I was me. I was Mother Earth. I actually burnt my identification, and I burnt my credit card, and I changed my name to Mother Earth. And I actually helped start the Me Decade. I don't know if you're familiar with the Me generation, but in the 60s, it was the You Decade. Anybody remember the 60s? Well, if you remember the 60s, you weren't there. But the thing to remember about the 60s is it was Uncle Sam wants you, or ask not what your country can do for you. We're all being used. The you was the us against them. There was always this mysterious force out there that was out to get us. So all the yous, the US's, we all had to group together to protect ourselves against them. But come the 70s, we had this realization that we're all me, we're all Mother Earth. Every one of us is, I'm talking to me right now. If anyone that's not me, maybe you're from another planet perhaps, but the rest of us are all from Mother Earth. And the me is mass and energy. See the M right here? And see the E? This is me. Mass energy, Mother Earth. And Christ was at the me level. He said, whosoever believeth on me shall not perish. He knew that I would never hurt me, I would never steal from me. I love me. Everyone is me. I love myself. I love my neighbor as thyself. We're all me. Whosoever believeth on me, only through me shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. All of us are me. And once we realize this realization of the me, then we have this first stepping stone to the steps of enlightenment. Basically, it's a level of consciousness. It's the me level of awareness. But we have to keep progressing past the me level. So once we get to the me level, and as I said, I changed my name to Mother Earth, and I traveled the countryside and spread the message, the me sage. I was a me sage. I was telling people about the message that we were all me and we were all Mother Earth. And basically I had a revelation also of it, which we all came from, which is the infinite totality. We all came from it. And some people call it God, some people call it Buddha, some people call it whatever you want to call it, but it's the infinite totality. We all came from the I plus. Basically there's no on and off. There's no black and white. There's just one plus. It's just the expansion. The Big Bang takes place, and we expand outward from it, and the I becomes the plus. The I becomes the I plus, which is the it, and we're all mass and energy, which is separating from it. We're all ME, mass and energy, Mother Earth, and we all came from it. And see, now you see it? Everyone can see it? And now you don't. Now what it is that infinite totality, but when we spiral away from it, when the IT becomes the TI, we have what we created. And what is it, folks? Anybody know? Take your time. T-I, Kobe, you know what it is? M-E.
Time.
Time. Time is the distance between it, which we all came from, and me, which we are right now. We created time. Time is our creation. And we are all co-creators of time. We're all sharing time. We're all making time. We're all making, as they say, time is relative. We're all related to time, so we're all relatives. And that's based on Einstein's theory of relativity. Is basically we're all related to it. That was his common knowledge, and I'll talk more about it later. But as he said, we must leave the I and the we for the it. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to get back to me a little bit. After I was Mother Earth for a long time, I decided that the world was revolving around me. I was getting a little self-centered. And I felt it was time to branch out. I didn't want the whole world to depend on me. And actually, I had a lot of different scenarios. I was going to get arrested, and I said, well, would you identify yourself? And I said, well, I can't. I refuse to testify on the grounds it might tend to incriminate me. And then I would have people identify me and say, would you identify this person? Yeah, and that's me, But anyhow, we all realized that we're me. So after the me, I became now. I realized that now was a state of mind that we're all experiencing. And these are different levels of consciousness because everyone is experiencing the now. We're all me, and we're all experiencing the now right now. And the now belongs to all the me's because we make now what it is. And when you think about now, I thought I had a lot of free time on my hand, believe it or not. I was, I might as well tell the whole truth. I was living out at Gilpin, and I basically had a pretty free monetary existence. We had our own little gardens, and there was no rent, there was no money. So I had a lot of time to think about these things. I had a lot of times to experience life and to figure out what it was all about. I was trying to figure it out. So I realized that was now, and now is one backwards, W-O-N, so we're all one. Actually, W-O-N-E is the oneness that we all share and is all wonderful. But after I was now, I stayed now for a short period of time, and then I realized that I should be more than just now. Because now is a beautiful experience, but how about now on? Because actually I did turn on, folks, I have to turn off the recording here. But I did turn on. I realized that now on was no one also. Because, on is when everything is bright and clear and shiny. I mean, now is can be kind of boring, but on is everything is clear and bright and it's meditating, and you realize what the beautiful experience of life is when you turn on. And then after I was on for a while, I realized, well, that's a good space. But actually, the real story was I was down in Mexico, and I was hitchhiking down there, and these people were driving on this real bumpy road. And they keep saying, hang on, hang on. And I decided I don't want to be on anymore. So I decided that I was going to become up. Like when you turn on the radio, right? You want to turn up the volume. So I became up, and I don't know, those of you who lived in Grand Forks might have seen the big up sign out there at Gilpin. They used to call me Johnny Up. But it was up as the ultimate point. We all want to, so I've been up. Then after I was up, actually I was kind of hard up. But anyhow, after I was up, then I decided to be around. So I changed my name, and all of these are different different stages of my spiritual development. I would get little cards printed up and pass them around. So I was around for a while, because once you're up, you got to move around. You just don't want to stay in one place. So I traveled around, and then I went over to Hawaii. And once I was over in Hawaii, I walked into the place. I got off the plane, and I said, wow, I'm in heaven. And so I changed my name to In Heaven. I was in heaven. In heaven, I figured, why not wait till, I don't want to wait till I die to become in heaven. I was in heaven here on the planet. So heaven, I figured out, was having each attain various eternal nows. Everybody's in heaven. Heaven is here on this planet. So we all have to attain, or each of us have to attain our eternal now on this planet, rather than waiting until we pass on into some other existence. Because this is about the nicest places I want to be as far as touch, taste, smell. I wouldn't want to lose anything in order to go to heaven. So after I was in heaven, then I was with it, then it was like it, and it was the is, and it was the at, and then there was the air, and then it was prophet again, and then I was natural we. And so this all led me to the progression of always. I finally got to the point where I was always. So I've been there, and I've done that, and I've been around. So I decided that once I was always, I realized that always stood for many things. Because once I got to the me level, the ME level, I realized I had to evolve, or I call it we-evolve, into the we level, which is the WE. This is the we, the whole earth. This includes everybody. It's beyond any race, it's beyond religion, beyond political beliefs, countries of origin. We're all members of the we members. We all belong to the whole earth, west and east. We're all related. We're all part of the one family we. And some people think it's, it's ridiculous because I use all these we's, or they think it sounds like a silly wabbit speaking here, or it's silly. But remember, folks, it's all based on reality. It's the we all thing. And it's just a way of we-minding people and thinking in new terms of speech and new terms of consciousness. And people should rename themselves. And we have to come up with different levels of consciousness. But the we level was the always, which is ALLWES, which is all people. Because when I say I'm always, I'm not saying I'm always and you're not. I mean, everyone's always. That's a, it's a name that we can call ourselves, because we're all always. And then we're also ALWAYS, which is always, which is forever. I mean, we're eternal. Eternal, was it the lady from Australia was saying, eternity is a long time. And she was here, I remember that. But we're all always. And then we're all ALLWAYS, which is always. Because there's all ways of expressing this unity and oneness that we all have. So always, always, always. And the lately revelation, the wevelation, I like to say, is that I decided I was always right. Only in the sense that I think we all should always be right. And I'm, if it's better to be right than wrong, the way I looked at it. So, anyhow, always is a spiritual name that I'd like to share, and like everyone to call themselves. We could be the, and everybody could be always right. So unless you want to be wrong, and that's your choice. But the point is that once we reach this we all level of consciousness, this we level, and this is the stage that I went through, then for a while there, like I said, I was a hippie for a while. Now I'm a hippie quit. It was just too much work. All those drugs you had to take, that was a lot of work. And free sex, that was a lot of work. And that hitchhiking all over the place, you had to put a lot of energy into that. It's better to own your own car. So anyhow, I was a hippie, so I'm a hippie quit. Then I tried being a guru for a while. I grew my beard and I grew my hair, and I changed my name to Groovy. And I had some groupies, we used to have group therapy and stuff. And actually, we had a theme song called Looking for Fun and Feeling Groovy. But I outgrew it, and I became a grown-up. But actually, none of us should become grown-ups, because what we should all do, the Bible says, do not commit adultery, right? And that's what happens is that people begin to think they're adults. And they lose that childlike sense of purity and bliss and appreciation. So we all have to keep kidding around. We don't ever want to become adults. We want to never lose that. It's never too late for a second childhood. So we all want to enjoy ourselves and enjoy the bliss of childhood enjoyment. But actually, I did write a book called How to Guru Your Own in Your Own Backyard. And all of us should become gurus, though. I'll get past this, but what you do is you look in the mirror and you say, G-U-R-U. So we all become gurus. Actually, I outgrew it, then I became a professor of it, a prophet. That's what, actually I was just looking for women that want to make a profit, but that was, I get past that, past that stage. Well, okay, some of this I'm making up, folks. But I'm just trying to add a little humor to this, we don't want to make it too dull. But actually, I was a prophet. But anyhow, the main thing is I have information about it. And what we do is we go through these different stages of development. And right now I consider this the we generation. I can experience this. For some reason we were led to connect here with Sean and Esther and this whole Johannes, the Sagos. The whole experience here is a we-allization, that we all are here. Think about it. What pathways brought us to this moment in time, to this experience? So we have to realize that we're all here for a purpose, and we're sharing of information. We're trying to, none of us are really telling us anything we don't know. We're just reminding ourselves of our oneness, and that's what the we solution is all about. So I'm not trying to tell you anything you don't know. I just wanted to remind you of your unity, because this is a we one. We're all we. We all know that we're we, and we want to express this, but sometimes it's very difficult because we don't have the opportunity to be with people that we can really open ourselves to and feel comfortable with, because we're not sure. The outside world tells us that you're a you and you're a you, and we don't have the opportunity to become we with each other and to share openly and to feel like we have anything that, that everything is ours, we and ours. But what we want to do is we want to go from the we level, and once we're at the we level, there's a lot of things that we can do, because this is where I call it the we solution. And once we think about this, and I thought about the planet, for example, planet Earth. We have a home here on Mother Earth, H-O-M-E. Home is here on Mother Earth. This is our home. We all share the same home. It doesn't matter what country you're from, it's all the same planet. There's no separation. The planet doesn't have any divisions. Gaia, whatever, is one big organism that we're all experiencing. And what we have to do is we have to realize that, or I'll say realize, that we have the ecology. We have the world ecology. And a lot of the we's here again also, but the main thing is that we have to reduce, reuse, and recycle so we can protect our natural resources. Because the earth, air, water, it all belongs, it's ours. This is our resources. They belong to us. They do not belong to someone that buys water. How can you buy water like the Indians? How could you buy the land? How could you buy the water, the air, all these things? And then also, as far as a world government, I envision, and I see this as a positive force. There's a book out called Planethood. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically it's a way to revise or to have a revision of the United Nations so that we have a world government, a peaceful world government that can take care of problems in the planet on a very positive basis. And I call it the We United Nations, the We Public of Earth, the world regime, where we all have a peaceful we-evolution, where we all evolve into this state of consciousness where we all belong to a government that's of and for and by all of us, so that we can have problems solved in the planet without having to, we don't like to hear about people being, I don't like to hear about people being killed in different countries because we can't do anything about it. They're our family, they're part of our relationships, our relatives, so we all have to look after these folks. Also, we need to think in terms of a economy, the world economy, and this is happening already. They talk about the New World Order. It's not such a negative thing. I think we have to realize that they aren't out there to get us anymore. We are all, the people that we think are those capitalistic enemies or something, they're our brothers, our sisters. They're all, there's no separation, I mean, all of us have money, so some of us have more money than others. Does that mean that this person, because he has a lot of money, is a very terrible person, and because we don't have much money, we're wonderful people? We're all part of the same family. So we can't start isolating, saying those capitalists, they just haven't become educated, they haven't reached the me level, they haven't reached the we level. And we have to make them we members, and we have to remind them, and this is the whole point. That's the beauty of it. There's no enemy out there. We don't have to fight anybody. We don't have to think of us and them. It's not us and them, it's we. And we have to have everyone progress and reach the self-realized state, the realization of the oneness of humanity. And so we have the we economy, and we have a we leaf fund, and we have a we fund for people, so that everyone, we have one monetary we system, so we don't have to worry about the money exchange. And if you go to any country on the planet, everybody has the same monetary system. So this is a vision, and it's going to happen eventually anyhow. The next thing is the we legion of love. And realizing that we all are one family, we're all hue beings. We're all hue beings of light. Light energy that are emanating from the one infinite totality. We all came from it, and we're all light energies that have emanated out from the one infinite total source. And once we realize that we all came from the one infinite totality of love, the we legion of love, we have a rebirth, we have a revival, we have a resurrection of the Messiah, which is we as us. We can't sit here waiting for someone to come and save us. Save me. Save we. We all have to do it ourselves. We all have to become this, the Messiah, the we as us, and we all have to create this energy force and evolve this state of consciousness collectively as a group. And so what happens is we have the we legion of love. But the main thing we want to think about too is that after the we level, there's still progressive levels that we have to go to. So once we get to the we level, and most of us, well, all of us in this room, I believe, are at the we level. If you're not, then raise your hand. Well, anyhow, thinking we as the whole earth, But after the we level comes the I level, which is the next step of our development, because all the we's get together. And when we've been doing these omings and these chantings and things, the we's kind of form together to form the I. The I of consciousness, the oneness, the I of unity. It's not even a letter, it's beyond words, it's just one. It's not even any expression except the I of unity. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be very democratic about this. So all those in favor of reaching I level, say I. So the I's have it. But after the I level, and the Bible says, I am the way, the truth, and the light. I and my Father are one. I am the great I am. All of us are I. And once we realize that, and we become we-I's, that's what the we-I's is all about, and self-we-allization. Once we reach the I level, the next level is the it level, which is the I plus. Because basically we came from it, and we're going back to it. It's just a circular expansion of the it, to the me, to the we, to the I, and back again. And what happens is we have the planet. Now this is the planet Earth. I'm sure everyone knows where it is. It's a nice place to visit, but I don't know if I'd want to live here, at least eternally, because I think we have other places to go and experiences to go through. But what we realize, we have the planet, and then we have the unit, which is the uniting. Everyone uniting together at one particular place at one particular time. And then we have the summit, which is the highest point, the peak. And then the price of our enlightenment, because basically, I'll explain that in a minute, is that once you reach the summit, you have to exit. You have to transcend. We're all looking for, I shouldn't say a way out of here, but we're all looking for a kind of a communal ascension. There's nothing wrong with ascending. I think it's a good avenue of transportation. I think we all should think about it as a possibility. People think, oh, I'll never ascend, or I'll never reach enlightenment. Why not? Like Christ said, the works that I do, you shall do also, and even greater works than these. Because the way showers, all Buddha, Christ, all these folks were saying that, hey, this is possible. It's not something that's separate. We're all part of the God I, the oneness of humanity. So what happened is that we planned a big gathering for it. It's called it. And basically, it's based on Einstein's theory of relativity, because we're all related to it, as I mentioned earlier. As Einstein said, the most beautiful experience of life is that of the mystic, upon which all true science is based. And what he said is that the E equals mc squared. That was his theory of relativity. And a lot of people interpreted the E as energy. They said, oh, it's energy, expanded energy. They didn't realize that the E, the big E, you know what it stands for? Anyone know? Group participation here. Everybody's. What? What are we trying to become? What was Christ trying? What? Enlightened. Okay, we're all trying to become enlightened. I hope I am. I mean, some of us got stuck in the delightment state. They want to be delighted. There's a lot of cheap physical thrills and pleasures. But I personally, once you reach that enlightened state, or at least the pursuit of enlightenment, is what all spiritual beings are doing. We're all trying to enter into the light. We're all trying to become light bodies and spiritual evolution and reach the enlightened state of consciousness. So E, or enlightenment, which Einstein was talking about, occurs when everyone masses together. It's not an individual process. You can't become, Buddha tried to do it alone, and if he did it, I don't think so, because we're all here. I mean, if one of us does it, we all do it. So the point is that enlightenment is something that we all have to do as a group. It's got to be a group effort, a communal. We have to do it. We can't allow Buddha, we can't say Christ do it. Christ was trying to make it across. He was trying to get into the enlightened state of consciousness, and he approached it, but basically I'm talking about the expanded state of enlightened consciousness. So what happens is the E equals mc squared. Enlightenment takes place when everyone masses together in one particular place at one particular time, just like we're here for this gathering. We all mass together in one particular place at one particular time for one particular reason, which is it. And there's no other purpose but for it. So what happens is we're all going to mass together at high noon, August 19th, 2001, up in Woodstock, Ontario, which is it's on the Canadian Shield. It's a very solid rock foundation there. It's in Woodstock, Ontario. And in the town of Woodstock, there's a statue of a cow right there. And so what everyone will do is we'll all merge around the cow, and we're all massed together around the cow itself. And that's where the Mass takes place. You've heard of the Catholic Mass. This is the massing of energy. Everyone that's into it. If you're not ready for it, or you're out of it or something, then you won't be there. But if you're into it, you'll be there for this expanded energy enlightened process. So what happens is that's the massing, and then the c squared, the way you square the speed of light is a very simple process. What you do is you open up the third eye. And those of you who are familiar with the enlightening process, you realize that the third eye chakra opens and you reach the Brahman state of creator creation. And the energy light is emanating from your forehead as it's reflecting at the same time. You become a light energy source, a light body, so to speak. So what happens is that we all reach eye level together at this one time. And so what will happen is we're all massed together in Woodstock, Ontario, and we'll all be, leave all your troubles behind. Don't bring a whole lot of luggage, automobiles and different things. Just don't bring it with you. So what will happen is everyone will mass together at one particular place at one particular time. And then what will happen is that we're going to be oming together all at the same time. And all of us have been experiencing the Om in the last couple of days and understand how important the Om process is. So what happens is that the Om is a collective conscious energy source where we all merge together, and as we're oming all at one time, what we have is we have an at-om IC, which is an atomic revelation, basically. What we have is we have an atomic nuclear reaction. That's what a nuclear reaction is. We have a nuclear revision of energy. What happens is that we all merge together, and as we're oming, we reach the planet, the unit, the summit, and then we all exit. We all transcend as pure cosmic energy. Now, there has been some debate about the time and the place, so I'll leave that open. It doesn't really matter. I'll put it this way. I don't want to disappoint anybody, and then maybe by 2001 people aren't ready for it. We'll have to just see. But the main point is that that's how it's going to happen, is that we all converge and we all energize our essence. Our physical body turns into energized essence, and we all transcend from this plane into the next dimension as energized essence. And that is the vision that we've all seen of the transcending of pure light energy. It's not a heavy trip, it's a light trip, because we're all going to travel, we're all going to be there. I-T-H-E-R-E is it here. We're going to be there at the same time. I there is it here. And remember, as I said, it's not a heavy trip, it's a light one. And then I am the teacher, and me is the pupil. So I am talking to me right now. And each of us will take turns. Whoever comes down here is I speaking to me. But what I teach, I-T-E-A-C-H, is that it is each. Each and every one of us is it. And we have to realize this, and this is the realization. This is the we vision, the we solution will come next, but this is the vision that we'd like to share communally, because we've all seen it. We've all seen that we've come from one, and we're going back to one, and we're all these huge beings of light energy. So it's a very simple explanation for maybe a difficult process. But remember, keep it simple, because it doesn't have to be complicated. It's a very simple evolutionary process. So anyhow, I wanted to share that information with you, and you'll hear more about it. It's not something to worry about. It's just something to look forward to. But what I'd like to do now for the period of time that we have here is come up with some we solutions. And I was asking a few of you folks that what we can do as a group to start reminding people of the oneness. I mean, we don't have a difficult time here, but what can we do? And I'm open for suggestions. We're open for suggestions now. What can we do? And I'll give you one that kind of started off. But what can we do to make life a little bit more blissful, more exciting, more enjoyable for the whole planet, and things that we can implement on a basis right away. Things that don't cost any money, things that we can do individually, but towards the collective consciousness, and things that will have some impact and important effect on the planet itself. So, anybody have any suggestions? Marianne, you said you had some ideas. Okay.
Nothing to follow up on what you said, Jonathan.
All right, I've got one here, and this is something we all are not victims of, but I think it's an example of what I was trying to say. Is that we need to when you give the we sign to people, we can wave to people, and just as a reminder, I think it's we need to say hi more to folks. I think we need to. There's a story where I was in Texas. There's a Texas A&M. They have a college down there, and they're called the Aggies. And these folks, they have a tradition where everyone in the campus says howdy to everybody. And it's quite a friendly place, but it was funny. I was talking to this one guy, and he was just a new student there, and he says, yeah, he walked by this big football player, and the guy said howdy to him, and he didn't say howdy, and the guy turned around and said, hey, I said howdy to you, you know. So I'm not saying that we have to get a response from people, but maybe if we just are a little bit more friendly and open and smiling, and it's difficult for all of us. I mean, we all have times when we're preoccupied, or we think, well, I don't want to smile at this person, or I don't want to wave at this person because I think I'm strange or something. But that would be part of the we solution, would be an opportunity for people just to smile and say hello and how you doing to folks. You know, get their attention, look them in the eye. This isn't New York City. We don't have to worry about confronting someone with the visual eye contact. So, someone else got some input, some ideas, some suggestions? This is a we thing. Pardon me? Okay, well, smile. Well, that's our, okay. Some other ones. George.
A real cheap one. This is a real cheap one. And this gets recycled in many different ways, but my version of this is to look for the godness in everyone. Look for the godness. And we do that by practicing unconditional love. It costs us nothing. And we find this with revival as the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. So just treat other people like you would like to be treated.
Good.
Cheap. Works like a hot hand.
Okay, so let's keep it simple. We have smile and the golden rule. I think everybody knows the golden rule.
Courtesy and respect.
Okay, courtesy.
Treat others with respect.
Treat them as we would like them to.
And each day, try not to bring any bad feelings to others, you know what I mean? Like, we oftentimes say things and not meaning to. Our presentation is gruff, and we actually hurt other souls. And if you become aware of that, then you can kind of be very careful that you don't upset or hurt.
Yeah, especially Marianne, if I could use your example, she is a bank teller, for example, and you come in contact with a lot of different people during the day. And just that one interaction that you have with that person could make or break their day.
It does.
And
a smile, for sure.
Smile and...
Yeah. Smile and be polite, be kind, be helpful, be courteous.
Okay. How about some other things? Sean?
Sharing the gifts we've been given without expectation.
Right. Those gifts, the gifts from God, and not thinking that we have to do anything with them. Good. Keep going, Sean.
That's it.
Kobe.
Random acts of kindness.
All right. Give us an example.
An example would be while you're training your parking meter, slip the coin into the next.
Good idea.
Get it and take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. Excellent. Just random acts of kindness. Yeah, you see somebody who's going to get a ticket, or the parking meter's expired, throw a quarter in there. Yeah, because it's all, we're doing it for ourselves. That's we are parked there.
Or another example, the last night when I was in the grocery store, I bought a little bouquet of flowers for myself. This lady behind me, this older lady behind me, two spaces behind me, was really smiling at me and really giving me a lot of love. So I just said to the teller, take these flowers to her.
Great. Beautiful.
That made her day.
All right. We're looking for some more simple we solutions. Shannon.
Kiss dogs.
Kiss dogs.
Kiss lots of dogs.
Lots of pets. They're four-legged animals.
Kiss dogs.
Four-legged people.
I can't help it, John. I love dogs. Look at them.
All right. How about you folks? Anything you like to... A simple solution that we all can implement immediately, not something we have to put a lot of money into, but something that we all in this room are going to say we're going to do.
Give
Because
counseling to people that work too much.
do what
We
now?
give counseling to people who work too much.
In what regard, Jonathan? How would you share some of that?
I think people are working too much. I like work. Work is great. I think everybody should work. But working 9 to 5 downtown, and the wife's got to work, the husband's got to work, the kids got to go to school, and just all caught up in this big being out there and working for something where we become a we.
Right.
Yeah.
Us.
Big wheel.
Us and that, yeah. We need to form the we all of life instead of the other we.
Let it form us, yeah.
Yeah.
The rat race.
Yeah.
Get out of the rat race. Step back. Time is your most valuable element in life.
Okay.
If people can appreciate time more and spend time wisely. I heard a wise man tell us once that time is the currency of life. You need a little money to get by, but you don't need all the money in the world. Chasing money is a sin. Chasing it for the sake of itself, to keep up with the Joneses, and to buy more and more commercial items just to have, is a sickness. If you can get by loving nature and existing with less, and spending time wisely to help others, to help yourself, to educate yourself, to just enjoy this world and make this world a better place, then we all will profit by it, and our future generations will be that much better off.
We agree.
That's a beautiful thing. Think about, like we're all, I can only share what I'm saying. We're victims of that. Too much working. Think about what you're doing with your time. That hour that you sat there in front of that TV set, zoned out. What could you have been doing with that time instead? It's an investment. Yeah, meditating, or for world peace, or for oneness, or for doing something. Don't. It's like money is. We've got to change the view of the world. The money is so important, and time is irrelevant. I'll trade my time for money, but we should be trading our money for time. And it's one of those things where you're right. We've got to really appreciate time and the value of it.
Once time's gone by, you can never get it back. So enjoy the present, obviously, but keep enjoying that present. Money you can always make more of.
Yeah.
And you only need so much, as I said, so you can really concentrate on that. We've tried to pull back in life long ago, and we've been fairly successful, we feel. And the number of people we meet are caught up, as Jonathan says, in that rat race, where they're all working, and most families have to have 2 incomes these days. And then they're caught up in traffic and pressure at work and unappreciative companies and bosses in a lot of cases, and they're just pawns in the game, and they're not happy. And so many people have said to us, well, how do you do that? They think we're wealthy. I said, no, we're not wealthy. We just realize that when you have time, you can get much more for that time if you're careful the way you shop, if you're careful the way you spend. You don't have to rush out and buy something at the corner store and rush home because you only have that much time. You don't have to rush out and have a pizza because you don't want to cook. You just take things in time, and life becomes so much easier, so much more enjoyable. And we go out and we do things in nature. And people say, gee, I wish I could do that. So, well, there's nothing holding you back. You just got to make the decision, like you said, not to wear yourself out at work and then plunk down in front of the television and be stuck, just catching up all the time. And then all of a sudden it's time to go to work again. You got to get away from that if you can, as soon as possible, because life passes you by.
With the new disease, I saw a really good documentary on it. It's called Fighting Affluenza. And it goes along those lines, and it's really interesting that it's really quite popular in Holland, where people are cutting back and realizing they can live just as well or better. They're selling their cars, they're buying their clothes in thrift stores and flea markets, and there's a whole movement afoot. I was quite happy to watch that because it really was inspiring.
Yeah, pursue time instead of money.
And also teaching down in San Diego, they were educating. There was a class that the kids had to take in school about money and cutting up credit cards and making them aware of what it takes to get by and saving their money instead of blowing it and having, debt up to their eyeballs. That's a really good movement. I'd like to actually learn more about that.
Well, we're going to create it right here. We're going to contribute to it. I think, what was your name?
Sean.
Sean. I think Sean brought up a good point that I think all of us should do, and especially here, it's a perfect place for it. I think all of us later today or tomorrow morning or whatever should just go walk out into the woods as far as you can without getting lost. But just get away from everything. Get away from the road. Get away from everything, and just sit down there amongst the trees or down by the river, wherever it might be, and just take a moment to really appreciate nature. Because I think we have such little contact with it. Especially, we had a friend of ours, a beautiful friend that we hoped she would be here, but she was unable to make it, was in Japan. And she says there's no green space in Japan. There's no place where you can go and appreciate nature. Everything is concrete, cement, and you know. Go somewhere where man hasn't touched. Somewhere where there's just trees, there's just nothing but grass and trees around, and then just spend a little bit of time there, meditating or appreciating, talking to the fairies or whatever you want. But just to appreciate that beauty. And especially here, I mean, there's no excuse for it, because in this area, all you have to do is walk 50 yards out off to the bush and you're in nature, or less than that. But I'm just talking about no roads, not even the sound of a road. Some more ideas. Come on, you guys. Okay, Kobe.
Probably not the best thing, but I came up with forming armies all over the world and doing a major takeover of the television stations and putting something out, like the truth about bankers, about this, about that, about who we are as spiritual human beings, because everybody watches TV. And then blow up the station.
Well, I think you've got a good point though, that we need to maybe write letters to the editor or try to get on TV stations and get the message out that we are one. Start, you know, people might think you're a little strange at work or whatever, but start talking about the oneness of humanity and love of all beings and of all planets, and kind of be warriors of, you know, zap them with love, as John said the other day. I think we need to be a little bit more, as a member of the Peace Army or the brigade, the Peace Brigade, where we have to kind of stick our necks out a little bit.
I remember one day I was pumping gas in the car, just standing there with the hose, and I saw an accident right in front of me. A Chinese guy ran into an East Indian guy. I thought, oh, that's great. They don't like each other. It's going to be a fight for sure. They jumped out of the car with their fist doubled up, and this thought just came over me. No, send them love. So I did. I visualized them being wrapped in love. And we stopped in front of each other's face, went back to the car, and got the pencils and paper to come out and put it all down.
Spray love at them.
Yeah.
Spray them with love. Zap them with love. Good. Yeah, in any situation too. Maybe even avoid violence. You know, quit watching violent movies. Quit contributing to that violent. Quit watching television.
Should have set for the nature station. Huh? What's that called?
Discovery.
Discovery, yeah. That's pretty good.
There's some good stuff.
It's not good?
Gotta edit it carefully.
No TV.
It's 7 channels.
How
Well,
about
cut back. Let's put it this way. Cut back on it.
What show once in a while?
Pardon me?
What show once in a while did you say?
Just videos.
Oh, just videos.
Yeah.
Underground videos.
What about you folks? Come on, everybody. Well, I'm going to make you go around the room. Okay, start. Fred, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're on. Tell us what you're going to do.
Well, I've always liked the idea of the concept of tithing, but not within the organized church theological structure, but I thought that giving something of yourself, whether it's 10% a day or an hour or a week or whatever, but just have that consciousness. You wake up every morning with the thought that you have set your mind to be available to take advantage of an opportunity to give something.
Okay, 10% of your time during the day will be for the We Solution.
Any percent. Yeah, okay, that's solution. Right.
All right. At least 10% of your time you'll be thinking of the oneness of us all and how we can, whatever it takes, and it'll probably unfold itself. Tithing, great. How about, tell us your name again.
I'm Elsa.
Elsa, go ahead, Elsa.
Judgment. Drop judgment.
Beautiful. Judge not.
Judge not.
Great. And
Burnett,
Burnett.
just bring more discipline back into our society.
Okay, discipline? In a positive discipline, right?
Positive.
Okay.
We all lack it.
Yeah,
Irene, less materialistic.
that's materialism.
Yeah, there's lots of it.
Good. Got a couple sleeping, I think they're doing it already, so. Colby, any other?
I think we should help the elderly, the lonely people that don't have any family, that are in their houses by themselves.
That's a beautiful one. Try to reach out to some of these people, or neighbors that you know that are kind of lonely, or that need a smile, or
Give up a half an hour or something.
yeah, share some of that time that you have. That money, that time is the money, so why not share it with people that could appreciate it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Live in the now moment and stop making video movies and so that so that we can appreciate what we live now instead of having to go back tomorrow or next week and say, what did we see there?
well, hopefully these videos won't be for us, but you're right. I had this revelation with this one person I was with. Do we want to be now or do we want to be then? Do we want to be now or then? You know, it's a big choice. Is it now or is it then? I think we all want to live in the now.
We have to.
We don't have a choice. But you were sharing with the smiles. Anything else?
The brother was not judging. I think that a lot of people, whether they realize it or not necessarily, they're just people in general, when they look at somebody, they automatically do an up and down, and they judge them. They're just like the way they look, or what they're saying, or the way they talk. And a lot of people dress in order to emulate what they want to think of them. And I think that non-judgment comes from not judging yourself, and then not judging other people based upon that. When you see somebody, to immediately not judge them, just let it go, and be really accepting of them as a person, not anything else.
Beautiful. Yeah. Where they're from or what the. Okay, George, more?
I was thinking you were talking about television. Larry Gilbert, this has sort of been on my mind for the last couple of days. Larry Gilbert, who was the creator of the series MASH on television. Everybody know about MASH 477? He said that television is a weapon of mass distraction. It takes you away from the important things in your life and gives you something that has no value whatsoever, and all it does is fill your time.
Take our time away. Yeah.
And you know, it sort of follows. You actually sort of clued me into, or it gave me the clue again to talk about that, because time is very, very important. If you think about this, the past has already happened. You can't change that. The future, it'll look after itself. And the woman this morning was talking about living in the moment, being in the moment. And the universe will provide. So, be in the moment.
Beautiful. Another one.
Yeah, I was just thinking about what he was saying, being in the moment and accepting what comes. Marla Morgan wrote that fabulous book about the mutant message down under. Those Aboriginal people that can just every morning of their lives walk out into the desert and say, here I am. I'm going out there today, so get some food ready for me, and here I come. I don't even have water with me. Could you imagine us people going for 4 months out in the desert? We need trains with all the stuff.
Trusting, yeah. Trust in the Spirit. Spirit will provide.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, Ted.
Well, Jonathan, I think I'll just try to relax and take the time to really enjoy my second childhood.
Beautiful. We need more. We need more beautiful kids around. Sean.
I used to meditate and ask for guidance as to what I should do, and the answer that I would get was do nothing. And every time I'd meditate and seek guidance, it would be do nothing. And so then I'd try to do nothing, and pretty soon I'd find myself doing something against my will. Either moving to get a drink of water, or chopping wood, or whatever it was I was inclined to do. And miraculously, things happened. So that would be my counsel, is to do nothing.
Great.
Oh, one other thing. In terms of opposing anything, whatever we see out there as being evil is part of our judgment of what's good and bad.
Great.
And it reminds me of Menno's manuscript where he said, somebody gave him that little message that said, there's so much good in the worst of us, and so much bad in the best of us. Who's to say who should reform the rest of us?
Beautiful. Right.
I think while I'm enjoying my second child that I'll take the time to keep an eye on Sean.
Good idea. Make sure he does nothing. Ian.
Well, I joined you guys kind of late, but
Suggestions to make the world better.
When I first walked in here and you speak, a little story came to mind of something that happened to me recently. And I've been working at a restaurant in Vancouver, and I've just recently fired my boss, and it feels really nice.
Fire your boss.
Yeah. But walking to work one day, I came across an apple tree in someone's backyard, and it just, a real message right there. The apple tree was growing and along the fence, and the apples were overhanging over the fence and dropping onto the street or onto the sidewalk, and just a real message in that the apple tree doesn't know there's a fence there and doesn't know to keep the apples to the owner of the apple tree, supposedly, just to drop your fruit with no boundaries.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, John.
Spray love. Spray love.
I would say be yourself, but I don't know, I can't do that otherwise people just wouldn't understand and I'd be locked up.
And you're with a bunch of other lockies.
So I think I would have to say I don't know, bring it down to earth so people can understand.
All right. Merge the two. Alan.
Spray love.
Spray love. All right.
Spray love.
I don't know if he's thinking, we don't want to just, he's doing the right thing. Diane? Yeah?
I think we should contribute more to our community by volunteering and just giving of ourselves and of that precious time that we have, and share it with others who are less fortunate, and teach them, giving our love to them, and so they may be able to turn it around and to make a better life for themselves as well, so they can turn it around to others.
Yeah.
Let it continue.
Use the blessing of
evolving.
time to share that blessing of time. Beautiful.
Everybody's saying everything that I'm thinking.
We'll go in the back there.
Stolen thoughts.
We'll come to the front.
I'm just gonna smile more. When people or strangers smile at me, I just get really happy. I try to smile more.
Smile. Greg?
I think we gotta teach the children to respect the earth. I think everything's so busy and we don't teach the kids to enjoy what they see. Like, I mean, a toy isn't gonna make you happy like the outdoors.
Beautiful. Appreciation for nature.
I just have to say I've heard some really, really brilliant solutions, and just to sort of tie everything together, really like when you're sitting like alone, you're just giving more of yourself and random acts of kindness is a really good idea. And I don't really have one to share, but it just made you live every day.
All right. We just woke you up, but or maybe not. Anything you'd like to share with the part of the We Solution? What can we do?
Well, I think that human beings have some extreme potential, and right now I think the race is starting to get glimpses into what its potential is. But I think at an individual level, we could all, just like this morning, this temple of manifestation. I think there's information now that's starting to starting to open ourselves up to information here that is coming through, and it's giving us little glimpses as to what we could be doing. And I think on an individual level, once we start visualizing, energizing, tying all of this together, clear vision, we're just going to scoop the whole mess up. So we're going to take this whole thing to the next level.
Right.
We do it on an individual level, and so if that's one thing that we could all be, I think, doing, this is what I would like to do.
Beautiful. All right. Becky, how about you? What are you going to do?
I was just going to say be nice to people. Something I found is that I do sometimes inadvertently is when I think something nice about someone, I tell them. Even strangers. I had a real odd reaction in a real bad part of town. I was in getting something to eat from my mother who was in the hospital, and there's all these gang members and awful people. There's this fabulous looking girl there that had no idea she was fabulous looking. And I told her, and she could not believe it. She came over to me 2 or 3 times while I was waiting for my food to talk to me, and in a real hostile situation. So I think that you can really kind of, that's something that Peace Pilgrim said too. You just offset people with what your true thought is, and surprise them with something you like about them, even if you're afraid of them, because there's always something you like.
That's a beautiful one. If I can expand it, just find something good about somebody and compliment them. You know,
Look for the godness.
look for the godness. Yeah, nice shoes, George. Nice shoes. No, be sincere about it. But
It's got to be spontaneous. It can't be contrived at all.
No, not contrived, but at least you're looking for that positive. Don't be afraid to say what you think. Beautiful. Marianne?
Well, I like what he said. You look for the godness that's in everybody else. Look through God's eyes. That there's somebody that that's negative. Look for the good parts, and realize that they're the same as you are, and to be of service.
Just to let you know that this is an open forum gathering, and that the talking stick is yours as a tool to come down and share whatever you may have to share. Any insights or journeys, or for those that have been arriving in the last day or so and haven't had a chance to share, maybe to introduce themselves. However Spirit moves you to speak. The talking stick is here for you.
Do lots of clearance. I always say that I'm undoing. The clearing can make clear space. And I now always ask, and I always, when I can't move any situation that is either from others that they are asking me, I can't do it. I offer it to the divine, or to something higher, or to the mother. And I don't deal with it. And so that always comes out through. I can guarantee you that. If you don't deal with it as your own personal self, so I will highly recommend you that. Because so that you just, something else, some divine order or divine plan would take over that would create the exact situation that you are not even having dreamed of. I'm always very grateful. So, there is hope for the flowers for all of us. So thank you so much. Thank you. Hope.
It was an awesome question.
raised something up for me too, because in what I do, I own a store, and I meet a lot of people throughout the day. And some of them are, as you put it, full of life and light, and others are not so full of life and light. And one of the things that has taken me a long time to acknowledge and a long time to work with is that each person I meet, each person in this room that I meet, we're interconnected.
Stopped, and they're given to the just, to the unjust, to the heavy. They're just given. Where the incy bitty of question comes in my life at least, is to my willingness to let them in, to recognize. Because many of these here, as I look, gift of safety. Oh my God, I think I have to make myself, have to buy some locks and do some door, going through the whole safety bit, rather than saying, hey, I am paranoid as hell, God. Where is your safety here? I'm still buying locks. I'm still sometimes even thought once about buying a gun for safety for this planet. The more guns, the safer. The ego, the fox logic. But very seldom like to invite the gift of safety. The gift of supportive friends. The minute I think that I will let some supportive friends in, that they might control me, there's a fear, you see. But that's not being true supportive friends. So we still have so many conditioned reflexes in our psyche which are tension patterns, which is good, which is bad, and we remember. And after a while, in a school system, if you're somewhere close to, well, I sampled many. I went, I think, to 18 different schools in 5 language changes within 3 languages. So I saw a good cross-section of our educational system. And one of the main ones was pay attention. I mean, we were kids. We're looking outside the sunshine days, beautiful, and all of a sudden, bang, pay attention for else. Like there was a threat connected with it. And of course, soon I learned that to pay attention was to create a tension pattern as if I'm looking at a backboard. And that was the price of attention, to remember where I was looking. Then I go and daydream. Am I different from you guys?
No.
I'm not in the wrong pew now.
No.
Okay. So really, any tension or stress pattern is a disease. Bar none. Someone says, you have to have tension patterns, you have to make plans. The thought came back. God doesn't make any plans. Nobody's going to jump in and argue with that. Why would God make plans? Because it's all powerful, it is good. God doesn't say, I'm going to plan this, create attention, and then I'm going to deliver it. And then some idiot is going to say, I want to know God's plan for it. I want to know God's plan for me. God doesn't have any plans. So the ego makes one up, I'll give one to you. If you want God's plan, let's give him a few. You know. And here, let me divert a bit about the fox energy. Somebody says, well, what do you mean the fox that is first one to volunteer to look after chicken? In my rational mind of rationalizations, and the word rationalize means to rationalize, isn't it? Okay. So in order to rationalize, I had to make a big, huge excuse system, and I would say that Colonel Sanders is the fox that can rationalize to the nth degree, number one, that he has made more people like chicken than anybody else. And he can prove it. He can rationalize that he has created more housing for chicken than anybody else ever since history of mankind. Colonel Sanders could also argue that he has increased chicken population. And Colonel Sanders also says that he looks after the old age of chicken while he's increasing the population. No old age problem. And we can go on and on and on. You see that ego likes to rationalize things and go into proofs. Yet, earlier I said among these simple cards, hardly any of them can be proven. Even friendship I had. Gift to supportive friends. Can friendship can actually be proven? Can joy be proven? Can love be proven? Can trust be proven? All these things. Yet they're the most deepest touching thing. We talk about souls here and souls there. If there is a soul, this is the deepest touching thing there is that's on these gifts. We all know it's real. Gee whiz, try to prove it in a court of law. Doesn't work. Within any adversary system, be it court of law, be it medicine, be it whatever, where something fights somebody, and we have already assumed that those foxes who have volunteered to look after our peace, called justice of peace, or I don't care, I'm not trying to put anyone down within this. But what I'm saying is that we have created categories and projected this stuff all over, where in a sense, God is simple. Ego is complex. God is unity in one. Ego is separation, diversity, the whole bit. Now my fox, when I realize the separation is, oh my God, I have to bring all of them together. I'm the first one to volunteer. And the minute I'm volunteering, I recognize I'm already part. The fox has got me. Because I cannot create any more unity than I can create love. One time, I remember, actually it's my ex-wife, I actually felt guilty because she said, promise that you will love me, that this and this, and somewhere I thought, maybe I don't, because if I have to promise, it means I come, and somehow I felt it would be a lie, as if I could come up with love and then give it to somebody. And I've been hiding that fact for probably most of my adult life, until I think it was once I read in the Course in Miracles or whatnot, that wasn't impossible. Because to think that we can create or come up with love means that we can create God. The truth is the other way around. We don't create God, we don't create love, we don't create trust. And for me, the nicest thing to promise was this. Was I could say, of course, I'm willing to see love's presence with you at all as long as I can. Total willingness. But the promise to come up with this, I realized it is not within my scope. What a relief. Same thing about joy, about trust, about all the spiritual things. That when the fox comes in and says, I'm going to look after it, there's already a struggle being through. So in my journey, although I have many faces, because my ego has many faces, my most meaningful journey has been that of unlearning. What a beautiful place here for me to be this weekend, to further go in unlearning, because there's so much love in every rock, there's so much something is in here, okay, that I can just, for once, I can sort of let go of all my conditionings and just start seeing, oh wow, there's something so much better coming past all that into my life just being here. Anyone experienced that here? So with that, let's go back again to simplicity. All these cards, although there's about 110 gifts, and people start asking, well, what do you mean by this gift? What do you mean by this gift? How do you explain this? And I mean, I can come from the fox's side and do explanations. But what my wife and I found out was more intriguing when we asked the guidance. And each time someone would ask, they dictated through my wife, and I was just the secretary writing these things down. And I just cut open, like each one of them that you have, there's already a book that's explaining that. And I'll read about gift of simplicity. Sorry, I'm boring you, Tor.
No, get my
Oh, car windows.
Yeah, I need to roll my
Just
own
pick
too.
another.
We take a break for 1 second.
Windows.
We all have windows.
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about ours, do we?
I do. I'll be right back.
Simplicity.
Praise the Lord. It's coming down.
I've got to go check on the... Can I keep an eye on? Well, it's pretty level. I got to check on the massage
Okay,
too.
5 minutes recess, close the windows.
All right, 5 minutes recess.
And consequences. But we soon find that any of our solutions, however complicated and involved they may be, go nowhere. We find now that we are given a very simple solution. We are given the solution of a higher power. We are given a solution of a simple program. We are given the gift of simplicity. And somehow this whole place here reflects that. Simplicity is not tunnel vision, nor is it a lack of intelligence or knowing. The truly simple life has all knowing and understanding. It allows in everything, all ideas, awareness, and perception. The gift of simplicity then is a gift that guides us to a simple solution amidst all answers and all direction. To simplify is not to exclude. It is to allow in everything so that the best answer may be given. Discussing with Sean the process, it was amazing how you were describing this. With our higher power in charge of our lives, obtaining the best answers and the most appropriate solutions becomes simple. The direction becomes clear. What is for everyone's highest good becomes evident. The gift of simplicity is a gift of our higher power. For with our higher power, all answers are simply to let in more peace and more joy into our lives. The gift of simplicity is a simple solution. The solution of our higher power. We may, for simplicity's sake, invite any of the gifts, for that matter, because sooner or later we start to recognize that they all mean pretty well the same thing. They're interchangeable. Takes a while, though. My favorite is the gift of ease. And I will use the term God in probably the broadest sense, because I think semantically we have sort of abuse the term, but if we look at the broadest sense, then forgive me, I'll use the term. God has been known as love. God has been known as peace. God has been known as power. There are many adjectives and many words, as trust, as faith, as so many things. And I decided, well, if God is that powerful and that intelligent and all those things, then of course God is also ease, with capital E. God is not that God gives us ease, God is the ease. And that did, I was meditating on that for perhaps a whole year, on and off, on and off. And that was somewhere in, I think, 82. What was the year of Olympics in LA?
84.
84. I remember, did anyone watch the male marathon? Okay. They started to run, okay, male bang, and they started to run off. And of course, the announcers were quite lean because they were from the United States that we were watching. And as the runners took off, they all sort of started laughing because they said, well, this guy is leaping too far ahead too quickly, because unless he paces himself, he will lose. And then they talked, well, yeah, after all, he is from Portugal, and they don't have the high-tech knowledge that we have. And they sort of made some comments that were just a little bit off color. And now, as you know, as the runners run through the stations where, you know, they give water, this guy didn't take any water, if you remember. And now they said, well, we can almost count, you know, minutes before he will drop, because scientifically dehydration takes place, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But as it went about hour and a quarter into the marathon, no, this guy was still in front of them. But I mentioned to my wife, I said, there's something much different about this character, because he is running with ease. It almost felt that if there had been a mother and a baby fallen down, he would probably go pick it up and say, you know, he would just keep on running. There was none of this stress and strain. Now, if you remember the end of that, by this time, the announcers start changing their story a little bit. And in the end, they show the runners come into that stadium. This guy was way ahead. He was running in. Instead of collapsing across the finish line, he went across, he looked around, and in the stadium he saw somebody with Portuguese flag, if you remember. He went and grabbed the flag, and then he ran another lap around this whole place when the other two contenders for the medals were coming in, trying to push and pull, and they were just coming from self-will so much that they collapsed across the line. I think they were really wanting to see who's going to get the silver and who's going to get the bronze. Now, in the middle of all this, I like to somehow illustrate that perhaps God's gifts are themselves intelligent, are invigorating, we need not add. And this guy obviously had let go and run with ease. Now we can sort of say a few other things. He ran with God. Now in healing field, the opposite comes, you know, like the contrasts. I mean, we have this place built by someone who wanted to get out of the adversary profession. Let's kill the disease, let's fight it, let's fight something stronger, bullets, stronger this, which is already in the psyche creates the adversary condition, and then it perpetuates because the fox is there. Now, Jonathan keeps on talking about semantics. You know, he keeps on. He loves us. He just overheard him, we this. But the very word dis-ease, or I like to spell it dis-ease, tells it all. Now, these guys, about this big, and the smaller ones outside,